Hi there, Sandy here. Welcome to another Friday Findings video at keepsakecrafts.net. Today I'm going to continue on in showing you how you can make your own jewelry findings using polymer clay. Today I'm going to show you how simple it is to make bales out of polymer clay that perfectly match the pendants that you want to hang from them. So the first thing that you will need in order to make these bales are cutters. You can freehand cut a shape, but the easiest kind of shape to use is something symmetrical, because we're going to be folding it in half to make the bale. So something like a diamond, a square, ovals, circles, those are great. But I will show you also how to use cutters that aren't symmetrical, like teardrops or these leaf shapes, to make really interesting pieces as well. So in order to make our polymer clay bales, first we'll need some polymer clay. This is a sheet of clay that I have rolled out on a number 3 on my pasta machine, which is about 1.5 millimeters thick. And I'm going to go ahead and texture it. You don't have to, but that's kind of what makes these gorgeous. And you can use anything you want. I have here some stamps from Mandarin Duck that I've used. I have some texture plates. I also have a rubber stamp that I purchased in the dollar aisle at Michael's. What I like to do in adding a texture is actually add a little bit of Armor All, and the best way to do it is actually to add it directly to your clay. It's easier to smooth it over the entire surface of the clay rather than trying to get it in all the nooks and crannies of the texture sheet. So what you want to be left with is a very thin film. It doesn't have to be thick at all. And then I'm just going to apply my texture. I have one of my symmetrical cutters, a diamond here. Go ahead and position that wherever you want on the clay. Just lift that up from the tile. And then go ahead and use your fingers and kind of smooth out the edges as much as you want, and especially these metal cutters often have a seam that will kind of want to be smoothed out. I have here a 1/4 inch dowel that I've wrapped with a bit of paper. If you're going to make smaller or larger bales, then use a smaller or a larger mandrel. And then you just want to be sure that your clay is well conditioned so that it won't crack as you fold it right over. And then just go ahead and meet those shapes. Now you could use an awl or a needle tool to make the hole for hanging, but I really like to just use my little 3/16 inch round Kemper cutter. It makes just a neat hole and then doesn't distort your bale. And that's all there is to it. You just go ahead and bake that. And I bake these for an hour. I want to be sure that they're good and strong because this is what is supporting my jewelry. And you can shape it. You can give that a little bit of a flare. That's kind of pretty. Hi, Cheech. That's my kitty cat saying hello. He's always so pleased with himself when he finds me down here in my basement recording studio. So there's how you use a symmetrical shape, and you would do the exact same thing whether you were using an oval or a square or any other shape. Now in order to use a non-symmetrical shape, you have to do it a little bit differently, and I'll demonstrate with one of these leaf cutters. This is a really cool shape. So what you'll need to do is cut 2 of them going in opposite directions. So especially where we've used a texture, I'm going to cut 1. Then I'm going to flip my clay over. I can't flip the cutter over because the other edge is different. So I'll flip the clay over and cut another one. So what we have here are 2 shapes. Now we're going to do this a little bit differently. First of all, you need to decide which end you want to be the hanging end and which end you want to be the rounded end. I did one previously where the narrow points are the hanging end. I think I'll do it the other way now. I'll smooth out my edges a little bit. So whichever end you want to be the hanging end, go ahead and meet those together. Meet them together till they're matched up just so. It's actually a good time to add your hole. And then wrap one of the other ends around your dowel. And if you have a part that didn't come out so good, maybe it didn't have as nice a texture as you'd like, you put that one on the inside and hide it forever. And now that he's found me, he's crying because he wants out. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Oh! Hang on, I'm doing something here. I'm showing the people things. And then you can just press that down just firmly enough so that it attaches. And so now you have this kind of cool, I'm going to make that a little more even, not entirely symmetrical bail. And you can hang it either way. You can hang it this way or this way with that piece showing, just like on this one. You can see here's the edge with that piece showing, and here it isn't. And you know, you probably don't need to leave them on the dowel to bake. I probably would, if unless I was making a billion and didn't have enough room on the dowel, I probably would just leave them on there to be safe. And there you have it, how to use pretty much any shape or combination of shapes. Really, you could use the leaf for one and something else for the other. You know, let your imagination run wild with this and experiment and try different things. Now, what you can do is like what I did with this one. This was an oval cutter. And I used a lace stamp from Mandarin Duck, and then before it went in the oven, I actually put on some of this turquoise Perfect Pearls, and I think that's just a gorgeous sheen. In fact, I thought it would look nice. I have to add the resin to this and add some more paints, but I thought it might look pretty with this pendant. And here's another one I did with a diamond cutter, because I thought it would go really nicely with this Mokumegane cabochon I made a while back. I'll make the bezel maybe out of similar clay and colors to make it all work together. And then this one is, I just think, absolutely gorgeous. This was made with one of the large cutters, and since I had the scalloped edges, I decided to use it, and I think that's really pretty. This one I did with just gold clay, and I thought I would go over it with something dark. So after it came out of the oven, I went over it with iris blue gilder's paste. And here's me putting it on. Ooh, I just thought it was absolutely beautiful. This was the one I did with the rubber stamp. This one was just a red clay that I went over with the patina gilder's paste. So I hope you got some ideas there for ways you can custom make bails for your jewelry. It's a lot of fun to play and experiment. So if you're interested in the supplies I used, you can click on the little eye or the tag in the upper right of the video, or the link in the description box to go to my blog post, where I always have a complete supply list with links to products. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and take a peek at my Patreon page for how you can get great rewards and help support these tutorials. Happy creating. Bye-bye.